Oh, goodness, we have good news and we have bad news. Good news is it's another Prize Pick show, and we'll see if we can help you guys make some money with Prize Picks. Bad news is it's the last Prize Pick show for a while. That's okay. Prize Picks never goes away. It's always there, but this will be the last time you get some assistance from the Orange Bloods crew for a while. Glad you're with us today. It's national championship game on Monday. It's the 4 NFL games in the divisional round. It's always a cool weekend, and now you add the championship game onto it. Very cool. I'm Chad Hastings, not Jeff Ketchum, not Anwar Richardson. Jeff Ketchum is taking care of some business today, being the boss, OB meetings, all that kind of stuff. Anwar is going to fill in for Mr. Ketchum on the 12 o'clock show. By the way, jot down 1:20 p.m. Brian Jones versus Anwar Richardson for the very first time, and I'm the referee. That's happening this afternoon on House Divided. Just saying. We got Jason Sukumel. We've got Cody Carpentier. We've got Alex Dunlap. You catch those two guys on the bottom every day with Football with Friends. And Jason Sukumel is on Orange Bloods Live maybe more than anybody. He's everywhere. He's on all shows.
Quite that much.
He's on this show. He's on the Recruiting Hour. He's on the Modcast. And, of course, he's bringing you all that great content on orangebloods.com. The deal is right there on top. Play $5, get $50 instantly. You just have to use the code OrangeBloods. And we're going to take a look at some college and pro stuff. Gentlemen, it's good to see you. Before we get into Prize Pick specifically, how about Monday night? Notre Dame, Ohio State. Let's work our way backwards. Anybody picking Notre Dame to win the game? Show of hands.
I have a slip from October that was plus 1,500 for Notre Dame.
Oh, wow.
But it's also not a lot of money. And I also don't have any thought that that's going to happen. So
what is you got to tell us what's the plus 1,500 to what to win what?
20 to win 300.
Shit, that's a good win.
Hey.
Cody, I'll be rooting for you, dude. Like I wrote in my column the other day, I'm not picking Notre Dame, but I think it might be a closer game. What's the spread? Like 8 or 9?
8.5. Yeah.
I think it might be a closer game than the numbers indicate. I don't know, man. I think Notre Dame's defense is really good. And maybe it's wishful thinking because I kind of am rooting for Notre Dame. So I'm not picking them to win, but I'm thinking and hoping it's a closer game than the numbers say.
Alex, how you feeling about Monday?
Oh, I mean, I think Ohio State's going to roll them.
You lay the points?
Yeah, I mean, I said last week, dude, I thought that was the kind of the de facto national championship, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go. To be completely clear, though, it's not like I haven't spent my days since Texas lost, grinding over this matchup the same way I would have if Texas.
You didn't do the Ohio State deep dig and the Notre Dame deep dig? That didn't happen?
No, I did do the Ohio State one painfully. I just posted the column this morning, but I think that I know we'll talk about this with the Prize Pick stuff. I'll be interested to hear what you guys think about how they're going to try to handle that offense, and if they, regardless of the outcome of Texas game, I do think that there's some things that Texas sort of put on tape that can be a little bit of a blueprint to stopping key players like Jeremiah Smith, and so I don't know, like it's I'm picking Ohio State because I think they're a better overall football team, a more talented overall football team, and a better roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of there too. I'm thinking it could be like 10-14, maybe it's 17. I don't know that it's like a 28 or 30-point win, but I think they're going to be better. We will see. One place I thought we could start today, guys, was there was so much talk about Jeremiah Smith going into the Texas game, and I know there was some I guess you would say alarmist Texas fans were thinking, oh my God, how do they keep him under 5 touchdowns, guys? I mean, seriously, it's all day. He's just going to score all over the place. He clearly doesn't do that. 1 catch, 3 yards. And so all the Prize Picks wouldn't have hit. But I thought we could take a look at his Prize Picks for this game. And then y'all tell me if anything jumps out. So I made a Chad Hastings OCD crude graphic. It's very crude. I'm warning everybody ahead of time, but I think it is at least gives us a chance to kind of lay it all out. So I'm going to lay this graphic up there. I'll give you guys a chance to check it out here. These are all the things I saw this morning on my phone on Prize Picks. I give you your Red Devils where they're there. And as you see in the middle there, the 80.5 receiving yards, the Red Devils, you can go up to 4 different varieties. You go all the way up to 119.5. If you really think Jeremiah Smith's going to go crazy, there's 3 different green goblins you can get on the receiving yards. So this is how it lays out, guys, for Jeremiah Smith. Jason, does anything jump out to you as you see it?
Before the Texas game, I would have pounded them more probably, but he lit up Oregon. Oregon doesn't play great defense. Tennessee's a good defense. He did go for 103, but Michigan and Indiana, they held him to 35 and 34 yards respectively. Texas held him to 3, which I don't think you're going to duplicate that. Now, there's two ways to look at that. Obviously, does Ohio State say, okay, we've got to force feed him and get him more involved, or does Notre Dame take the blueprint? Like Alex said, maybe Texas showed them something that Notre Dame can duplicate. I would think they'll try to get him more involved. So is there a receiving targets? Now there's receptions.
I didn't see anything that was targets.
Yeah. I'm showing 3.5 receptions as a Green Goblin. You can go even 4.5 and then 5.5, 6.5, 7.5 are Red Devil. So it's pretty big variation there. I would certainly take the more on.
How is 4.5 a Green Goblin and 5.5 a Red Devil? That just means that they're projecting it at 5. It's just weird. You never see it just going through one number going through. I would guess if the 4.5 was a Green Goblin, then it would be like a 6 or a 6.5 would be the first Red Devil.
Yeah, but receptions are little. We're not talking yards where there's a big variation, but yeah, it is kind of odd. So maybe you're right, Alex. Maybe it's just 5.0 on the receptions. I would maybe go the 5.5 Red Devil is a Red Devil. 5.5 is a Red Devil. I like that. I think maybe they'll pepper him with a few early targets just to get him involved. But the yardage totals, that's the one everybody looks at first, right? I don't know. It kind of scares me after what Texas did and what I see what other good defenses like Michigan's done to them. So I think I'd stay away on the yardage thing. Maybe if they had a targets, which they might add, they still might add quite a few more plays. I think I'd go targets or even receptions probably.
Alex, Cody, anything else jumping out to you here on Smith?
I don't. Texas held the guy to 3 yards, man. He had 3. It was 3 targets. The David Benda pick and the Trey Moore quarterback hit on Will Howard. That was a Jeremiah Smith target, right? So I think he was targeted 3 times. Like that's. I'm not sure. Marcus Freeman's a good coach. I'm not sure that you can pull that exact same thing off. Do we know about the like Emeka Buka or Cornell Tate? I haven't looked at theirs yet. I kind of would. I don't know. This is like famous last words, but I might lean towards taking less.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that, Alex, on the other guys. I looked up Tate right away to see what they would have on him since he had a good game against Texas. I saw his receiving yards were at 40.5.
It's up to 42.5 right now, and Ibuka's at 55.5 right now.
Oh. Yeah. And like last game, Alex, I think I hit one I got close on a Ibuka with catches on 5.5, but I think he ended up with 5. And I think I said he was going to go over. So I was trying to figure out, but I fell for the Jeremiah Smith thing too. Like I got Jeremiah Smith. I did the Green Goblin at like 39.5.
Yes, money.
Right. I thought Ketch always talks about the freebies. I wanted a freebie.
Well, we had the freebie with the Bird Auburn stuff, but then those got rebooted, even though he was active.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
It was like,
it wasn't an injury. It's legit. They said did not play, which he did not.
Well, but he was active.
We were trying to find a loophole.
He could have played.
Yeah, and I
we needed them to get like one PAT. Cody, you're right. Just
PrizePicks, to their credit, was likely doing it on the benefit of people. We were being sneaky and saying like we know that Auburn's not going to even kick in this game, but he's going to be active because they're going to be he's going to be there and active, and so. Like, let's just go and get this green. Let's put a bunch of money and put a Green Goblin on Jeremiah Smith to get 39.5 because we know that's going to hit.
I wonder if he would have done like a kickoff or something. Would that have counted?
I think if he gets a snap in that game, it counts.
Anything interesting? Okay.
Yeah, but
damn it, Bird Auburn.
But I think it probably did help. It probably like PrizePicks was doing right by a lot of people who just weren't in the know and didn't know that he wasn't going to play. So
he was actually Alex. I think it was his points or something was one of the more, they always rank the most popular picks. Burt was one of the more, it was on that more popular pick pages. So, we were trying to buck the other way, but yeah, you're right. They actually did right by probably several thousand people who had Bird Auburn picks
Right.
for the more. So yeah.
Let's make sure we mention to the people there is a free pick on the championship game. Jason let me know about it right before we came on. The guys have already seen it. I hadn't seen this one. Will Howard, 0.5 passing yards. That's a freebie to use. So
usually on those, Chad, you can go 25 up to win 75. So make sure whatever you pair it with, make sure you do. Well, you can. I think you can do a.
Oh, you can do it. You can make it 37x. You can make it at that. Like you can make it whatever.
I'm saying if you pair it with one person, yeah, you could pair it with 5 people and do whatever.
Right.
But if you pair it with one person, it's basically $25 is your entry, your max entry. Now you can do like 10 here and 15 here. I think you can do multiple entries, but just make sure to maximize your $25 entry there. And I always do those with just one other person because I'm like, hey, I'm gonna try to maximize my chances of winning. It's a 3 times payout, so 25 to win 75. So
yeah, so pay attention for that one. Get you the Will Howard freebie, and then obviously pair it up with something else. Maybe it's a Notre Dame pick you like, or just something that's not Ohio State. If you're going to just go with the 2 there. So here's a guy that I was going to bring up, and then one of our viewers brings it up here. M.A. Texas or Matt Texas. G. Scott, Ohio State, the tight end, 17-5 on the receiving yards, 5 for 30 against Texas, 1 for 30 Oregon, 4 for 39 against Tennessee.
Jason, do you remember how much I love G? Is it G or G Scott? G Scott.
G
from the Navy All-American game. I was like, dude, that's the best wide receiver I've seen since Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was like, I thought he was going to be such a superstar, man. I can't believe he turned out to be a tight end, but I mean, I guess he's turned out pretty good. I don't know.
So after that performance, guys, the 5 catches against Texas, when I checked it yesterday, it was at 2.5 catches for Scott. I'm not sure if it's still at that number or they adjusted it, but
1.5 is a green goblin, 2.5 is a red devil.
2.5 Red Devil. Okay.
3.5, you can go up to 3.5 on a Red Devil, in fact. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, yeah, if you thought he was going to have another pretty good game, then, I take a peek at those running backs for Ohio State. Just a couple I saw, like Judkins with 12 attempts.
What is Travion?
Travion, let's see. I saw him. The one I thought was interesting for him, especially after the Texas play, 20 and a half receiving yards for Travion Henderson. What's the attempts on Henderson?
They don't have Travion for rushing attempts.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that. I just saw Judkins with the 12, Alex. And then the receiving yards for Henderson jumped out to me because I thought that's an interesting way. Are you going to project that he's going to have, maybe not the Texas play again, but is he going to have enough out of the backfield that you would go up to 21 or more?
And is the game script going to have a passing to a bunch of running backs? That's generally a little bit of a trailing game script that you want to look for in that situation, because you don't want to just be depending on kind of one-offs like that and 4-minute offense, right? Like that's not what you want to be. That's not what you want to be depending on. You want to at least have the backdoor ability to possibly say like, all right, well, if they get down, right, they might need to be throwing the ball to these running backs if they're trying to preserve time and stuff. So I don't know about the receiving yards on Travion. I think since I think Ohio State's going to win, it feels like, doesn't it feel to you like Judkins would be the one to ice away a football game for them?
I'm not going to jump on that. I think that both guys, I mean, they're used interchangeably. I think Judkins is more dynamic, but Travion Henderson is one that I think you can just line up and run down after down after down, and they split it as far as the entire season is gone. And the first snap last week, Judkins got it, and Judkins, laid the hit on whoever was Makuba on the edge out there. Like, I don't think that they'll, obviously they're not going to like lean into it like a Derrick Henry, right? Where they're going to go, all right, you're going to get every snap in the second half, and you're just going to pound and pound and pound. It's just an efficiency thing. So I think those numbers are kind of right, to be honest.
Yeah, there's something about that 12 attempts I like for Judkins. And I guess it's because I also fell for his attitude against Texas. Yeah. I mean, just the focus, the intensity, and
the hair.
Yeah, just the hair, like everything about him. He had it going. And then I just feel like he's that great, for a fighter analogy, like he's the jab to me that sets up all the other crazy stuff. they love to use him to set up the vertical, whether it's a big play for Henderson that they like, or it's something to Smith, or it's something across the middle. I feel like Judkins is the first step to that. So to me, I think 13 attempts for the whole game doesn't feel that crazy, especially if I think they're going to win and cover and, probably dominate, things like time of possession and stuff like that. I don't know. The Judkins number just jumped out to me.
The thing is, like, you look at last week's game for Notre Dame against Penn State, similar duo of a backfield. But the difference is in that game, like, they had 12 completions. So if you expect Ohio State's just going to run this football
right,
and kind of take the air out of it themselves, like they tried to do against Michigan and failed, like that's just not what they've done the last, month. And I think so. I don't know.
Good point from Big Cheddar. Only 9 carries against Texas. So that's probably why the number is there.
He did ask, yes, there is thank you for that. There is a TD play. It's a Green Goblin, 0.5. Hey, I got one that I'm curious to hear y'all's take. So Jaden Greathouse, don't look at his stats or anything. 21.5 receiving yards. What's
his mom was refereeing my son's basketball game on Saturday.
Was that right?
Yeah.
What do you have? 7 receptions last week? 6?
Yeah, but dude, the thing about Jaden is he's been what's the ground? The ground. He just pops up every now and then, right? See if there's 6 more weeks of winter. He hasn't been a consistent part of that of that offense this season.
Exactly. That's why I was asking. Everybody watched the game last week. He goes, he has the big touchdown, 105 yards. The game. Look at his 4 games before that: 6 yards, 8 yards, 6 yards, 12 yards. So I was shocked when I saw that 21.5 because I haven't watched a ton of Notre Dame this year, but I was like, okay, surely, I knew last week was out of the norm, but I was like, surely he's good for 30, 40 yards, right? But then you look at that, you're like, oh gosh, maybe that's one to stay away from.
Here's another one, Jason, to look at. Look back on his catches, because when I saw 2.5 receptions as a Red Devil, just after seeing that last game, I went, oh, well, yeah, he'll catch 3 balls, right? But then if we go back, maybe that's not the case. There are probably games where Notre Dame handles business a totally different way. And maybe Greathouse, are there games where he's just getting 1 or 2?
Well, like Alex, he got 7 last week, and then 2 against Georgia, 1 against Indiana, 1 against USC, 1 against Army. Like Alex said, probably a pretty good chance Notre Dame's playing from behind in the second half, though. So he may get a couple cheap ones in the second half. So.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for just patterns of a season and, periods of a season, and could be something where it's like, well, why would we not try and integrate him like that again? So, but it's just tough because his, it's been sporadic. 2.5 for a Red Devil though. If it's that's a high enough multiplier, I don't think it's terrible at all.
I know. Yeah.
3 catches.
Yeah, Alex, I'll admit though, I am a chronic more player on PrizePicks. I actually had a win, and I've had wins thanks to you and some of your ideas where you'll say, oh, it's got to be a less there. I've sweated out some lesses and won and thought, okay, well, that's how adults play this game. That's how real people play this game. Yeah. You don't need to always assume, of course he'll have 3 catches. Yes, every time. So
I think we're probably all 4 in that boat. And I think PrizePicks makes a lot of money from us in everybody, because I think that's how almost everybody thinks. Nobody likes playing the more or the lesses, right? We all want the more. Right. They're more fun. They're more exciting.
Yeah, and when PrizePicks will let me know, like, hey, you picked this guy a whole bunch, and it was wrong pretty much every time. It's like, oh, so if I had just picked the less every single time, it would have been okay.
What was it? Chad and I were laughing. We were at the card house watching, I think it was the last game, the Ohio State game, and PrizePicks sent me some kind of email or something, said, hey, here's end of year, here's your most played player, your favorite player, Nikola Jokic. Here's the guy you've lost the most money on, Nikola Jokic. Are your most losses? I've played him the most, and my percentage were all losses. So no more Joker plays for me. So.
Yeah, I think mine was Mike Evans for that.
Is that right? Mine was Quinn Ewers. Mine was Quinn. If I had just gone the other way on the Quinn stuff, maybe I would have. I was always so optimistic for Quinn every time.
Cody can guess mine. I'm sure. Cody, can you guess mine from doing all our pick'em shows?
Mayfield.
What?
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, Gibbs.
Oh, Gibbs. Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
gosh.
All right.
I think Jahmyr Gibbs' longest rush has only not gone over twice this season. So just
Before that, it was what, 23 in a row?
yeah. So
I like that.
that's certainly my most bet play for sure.
Yeah. I got a graphic here in a second, guys, for the top 10 NFL plays that I saw. Gibbs is in there, so get ready, Alex. There is a Gibbs to go. Before we leave the championship game, though, Jeremiah Love, the Notre Dame running back, 10.5 attempts in a game like this. I'm not sure if I'd go anywhere near that. It's me. I want to say, oh, yeah, they'll get him like 12 carries. But if Ohio State really does control this game, especially if they get an early lead again, they still haven't trailed in the playoffs, and they've gotten a first drive touchdown in all 3 games. So if they do that again, I don't know that Love gets up to that number. Cody, does that number do anything for you? Anything with Love?
I really like Jeremiah Love, but I kind of just want to stay away from that because we've seen teams struggle to run the ball against Ohio State. And I'm not sure I really want to trust an injured Jeremiah Love, even though he's a maniacal runner. I think he runs really hard, and I love all of that. But the direction I actually went was Aeneas Williams, the running back that is catching a lot of passes out of the backfield. He caught multiple balls last week. He's went over his 2.5 number, which is a goblin, 3 of the last 5 games. And if you go back to the Ohio State last couple games against Tennessee, true freshman Peyton Lewis caught 3 catches, and Jaden Blue was the leading receiver for Texas last week with 5. So that's the one I actually went for the backfield. Notre Dame was Aeneas Williams.
I like that play a lot.
I think he's like number 20 maybe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Tyler says doesn't Love have a bad ankle.
Love's banged up. They're probably playing from behind.
Yeah.
Aeneas had 5 and then 2 against Georgia, but 4 against Indiana. 2.5 as a Red Devil. I like that play, Cody. I may jinx you. Sorry, dude. I may jinx you.
We know what it means when Jason Sukamel likes your prize pick idea.
Hey, I did go 3 for 3 on Taco Tuesday this week.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. I got to figure out more Taco Tuesday things. I always
Dude, they do 3 every Tuesday. They do 3. Let me give you a hint. Anybody watching, and Chad, you especially. If you're on Twitter, get notifications for any times Prize Picks tweets, because that's how I always get my reminders. And they're actually pretty funny on Twitter too. They actually have some pretty good tweets on X, I guess it is. But on Tuesdays, they will remind you like, hey, Taco Tuesday. And they do one usually hits right at 11 a.m. and it's up for like 3 hours and they pull it back. And one hits at like, I'm guessing 3:30, 4 p.m. And then one hits at like 6 p.m. And they'll put them up for like 2 or 3 hours and they pull them back. Now, for people watching what Taco Tuesday is, let's say Aeneas Williams is 24.5 receiving yards. They will pick somebody and they'll reduce it to like 19.5 receiving yards. So you get really good value on those Taco Tuesday plays, 3 of them each week. They're not guaranteed to hit, but probably, I'm guessing 75, 80% of the time the discounted plays hit. Then you just got to, team it with someone else that's going to hit. So
interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Pro tip, set your Prize Picks, follow them on Twitter, and set your notifications from Prize Picks.
All right, guys, here's a dangerous one from the championship game. How about Riley Leonard, 37.5 rushing yards?
I mean, I love that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You love the more?
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
The sack yardage scares you, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, Cody, you're the one that's been argues that Riley Leonard is just a legit running threat. They're going to need to pull out all the stops, man. Yeah. I think in these kinds of games, it's like if we talk about NFL, I got an angle on quarterback rushing this week that I really like. And I think in big games, these quarterbacks who can run.
Cody, you buy
Maybe
that?
Their way to win it, just grind it out with him and, just go power running with your quarterback and try to keep Ohio State off the field and chew up clock. So,
Cody, Jason brings up a good point. You get one big, you get one Jack Sawyer, one Simon play in the backfield and you've lost 10, 12 yards maybe. But do you like 37.5 going
36.5 now, Chad.
36.5. Oh my God, you're down to 36.5. You like the more now?
I want to say I got to go back and look at this from last week because I know I took Leonard on last week. What was his number at here? I missed it because it was 51, so it's down, and he hit exactly 35. So it was 51 last week against Penn State, and now it's down here. So I think the number's good. You also look at Notre Dame's offensive line; they've only allowed 16 sacks this year, which is roughly one a game. They played 13
tackles out though this game.
Yeah, but I mean it's Notre Dame. Like if there's one thing you say, hey, what do you think of when you think of Notre Dame? I think a big white lineman. So So,
Okay.
Hey, what about Riley Leonard, Red Devil, for a rushing and receiving touchdown? They get inside the 5, they're going to just pound him, right?
him and
Ooh.
Love, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They do count on him for that. If they could get, not to bring up a sore topic for anybody that might be watching, but if they got like a 1st and goal at the 1, it's Leonard, right? They're gonna. At least,
I don't think it'll be a. I think it'll be a toss to the left.
at least once, right? At least once, you would think they would go right at it. By the way, Jason, we just had a side recruiting comment come in. Just wanted to get your thoughts. Apparently, somebody's watching. Maybe helicopters landing.
Gonzo's he's in Temple. Gonzo knows his Temple stuff. So
Sark and PK in Temple visiting Carlton.
Jamarian Carlton, the stud defensive end. We've talked about him a bunch. Who will be at the junior day. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So Sark and PK in Temple. Good info, Gonzo. Yeah, Gonzo's been a good source on Temple info going back. Shoot, as long they've had Temple's had a lot of guys come through, and Gonzo always has the inside scoop. So.
You go, Gonzo. Well done. Well done. All right, let's take a look. And you see the deal up top. Let me give you they'll give you the big graphic because it's a nice big graphic. Get that 50 instantly when you play 5. Just use the code OrangeBloods when you go to PrizePicks. Check out the championship game. You've also got the divisional round in the NFL. Always a good weekend with these 4 games. All right, fellas, I'm going to put up the top 10 I saw. Alex, I know you said you have something you like, so let's look at these real quick, and then we'll talk NFL. Your guy Gibbs is the second one there, second most popular pick. We got some Green Goblins. We got a Red Devil with Jaden Daniels here. And apparently the Rams-Eagles game is not highly thought of in this top 10. You're not going to really see that. I don't think you see that one time. Does anything jump out? Alex, I'll start with you. Anything jumping out from these 10 that you would like that America has been playing?
Yeah, I mean, can I say that I don't think that the Gibbs is good value for a Goblin a touchdown?
Okay.
I mean, David Montgomery's back this week, and they talked about Dan Campbell talked about how he's our bell cow and our tone setter, and we don't know exactly how they're going to use him. He's certainly back a little bit quicker than I would have thought, but with Jahmyr Gibbs, he can score touchdowns and stuff, and they it's not like they don't utilize him down there at the goal line, but if they get down there and they're in a goal-to-go situation, you're going to look back in the backfield and you're going to see Montgomery back there. It is what it is. So it hasn't been. I don't see the exact same touchdown equity this week for Gibbs as we normally would. Even though he'll probably score, but I always want to have the I don't want it to be where I'm just depending on some kind of breakaway run or some kind of reception down there, or the idea that they're going to get down there and they're just going to elect to put in Gibbs over Montgomery. So I don't like that. I think of these ones like that 0.5 TDs Green Goblin for Derrick Henry makes a lot more sense for me, right? Right. But the Lamar over 54.5 rush yards, that's one where I'll just say it. They have one on here where it's Lamar Jackson plus Josh Allen, higher or lower than 99.5 combined rushing yards. And I just think in this, like, Josh Allen, it's been like well documented. The later you get in the season, the more Josh Allen runs. I just have the theory that I don't have any scientific backing to it, but I just have the theory that really good elite running quarterbacks, when they get in these big games, they're gonna run. They're gonna try and take football games over. That's what these guys do. Whenever
so you like that as a more, that 99.5?
Yeah. Because I mean, dude, and the reason why is because Josh Allen and or Lamar Jackson could basically they could get there. Or would you tell me you're not allowed to be surprised if we wake up the next day and you look at Lamar Jackson's stat line and he rushed for 107 on his own? Mm-hmm. It's like you just
right.
Can't.
Well, and especially what happens if you do get a snow game in Buffalo, which they're thinking it could be, if that contracts things down, it could turn into that game, Alex, where both those quarterbacks realize my feet, that's how we maximize our opportunities, and I keep myself safe instead of throwing the ball.
I didn't even think about that, but that makes it even better.
right?
That makes it even better. It's like that. I mean, it's a really good. I think it's a really good play, and I also, I think that not having Zay Flowers is a big sort of a big part of this. I think if you look around at Josh Allen is going to need to put this team on his back, right? He's going to need to put the team on his back. But because if you look at his surrounding cast, it's like I know that like Dalton Kincaid, he's a good prospect and a good player, but they don't like. I just think whenever people think about Baltimore's defense, they think about a defense that at least during the regular season, do you remember all the teams that had the big, passing and receiving output versus the Ravens early on? And you're like, oh, this Ravens defense is bad on the back end. Well, they've gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
And you just look, you're like, wait, Josh Allen's going to beat these guys with Mac Hollins and Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir and the corpse of like Amari Cooper and Curtis Samuel. You know what I mean?
It's corpse of Amari Cooper and a barefooted man. Is that really going to happen? Come on.
Yeah. So I think he's got to take it into his own hands. We know what a G Lamar is. That offense isn't operating at 100% full strength either. So that's the one that I like because I think that gives you the opportunity to like both of them are probably going to rush for 50 yards each. Right. But if you, this gives you the opportunity that if one goes for 70 or something, you only need 20 or so out of the other.
Cody, is there anything in the NFL you like? Let me know if you want me to put that graphic up or not, but is there anything else that you like in the NFL?
Yeah, I've went with the Derrick Henry stuff last week. I think it was 20, and then it went up to 20 and a half rush attempts. He ended up with 26. This week it's 19 and a half. He's hit that each of the last 4 games. Pitt, Houston, Cleveland, Pitt. Kind of this, you guys kind of like laid it out perfectly. Like, I don't think the weather is going to be good, and they're going to lean into the big dog. I mean, he's built for this. We know he's built for this, and he's only been getting stronger as the season has gone on, which we're used to. And as the games go on, he gets stronger. But now as the season's gone on at the age, it's not really slowing him down. So 20 and a half rush attempts. The other one I was just going to bring up because it's out there and he's a legend in the playoffs is Travis Kelce. Everything across the board, 6 receptions, 53 and a half receiving yards, and the half touchdown. The half touchdown's a goblin. The receiving yards is one of the most bet or most picked props of the weekend. When you look at his playoff games, and I understand people are going to say, well, Kelsey's not the old Kelce, but he did have 133 targets this year, 97 catches, which was more than he had last year. In the playoffs, he's caught a touchdown in 8 of his last 10 playoff games. He's went over this receiving number in literally each of his last 13 playoff games. He's had 6 or more receptions in 13 of the last 15 playoff games. So when it matters, he shows up to play football, and that's obviously Patrick Mahomes' favorite target. I know Hollywood Brown is back, and Worthy's been kind of stepping up a little bit, but it's Travis Kelce. So, I mean, I love everything that Kelce has out there right now.
That's a good argument in general, and you brought numbers to back that up. But I think we all sense that, right? Big moment playoff game. Who's he looking for? He's looking for 87. They have that sixth sense. They both know what's going on, and in a moment, play breaks down. Jason, that's who he looks for. I like that. Anything else in the NFL, Jason, that's jumping out to you?
Lamar Jackson, 220.5 passing yards. He hasn't gone over that number in a month. Bad weather, like we've all said, they're going to lean on the ground game, I think. So I would, we talk about the Moors all the time. That one looks good on the list to me.
So I have one more that I really like that I think this is going to go up, but it's the Zane Gonzalez kicking points over 6.5. This game is the highest total that we've had all season with the Commanders at the Detroit Lions. It's a 55.5 point total. And you're telling me that I need 6.5 points out of their kicker? They have Jake Bates at 8.5 kicking points. This thing's going to 7 kicking points, maybe 7.5 kicking points before Saturday. So I would say that Zane Gonzalez over. That's basically either 2. It's the way that I could see it being. He probably needs to get 2 field goals to get there, but we're looking at a game here with 55 points.
Yeah, I mean, it would shock us if that game ends like 20-17, right? I mean,
I would be shocked.
with the defensive issues Detroit has had throughout the season, and they put some things together, but we know they can give up points. You're indoors there, a weather-controlled game with that offense and that offense. I agree with you, Alex. I think that's a points game all over the place.
Because the average number that they give you for these kickers is 7. Yeah. 7 kicking points is like the baseline one that you would get for a regular outdoor game, Seattle versus Carolina. You know, something with a 45.5 total. And so you're telling me it's a 55.5 point total, and like it's at 6.5. So that's the other one that I like.
Maybe they saw him almost miss that kick last week, and
and had all the weird ticks and stuff. So that's probably fresh on people's minds. But
yeah, don't get me talking about the kick that hit things. I collapsed in my living room as a Bucks fan watching that game. Oh my God. If you're going to hit the crossbar, can you bounce back, please, for me?
Cheddar Gibson's holding his holding it against him that he has some kind of obsessive compulsive thing there with fixing his hair.
Fixing his hair before putting his helmet on last week. Was that him? That was the guy?
Yeah, that's the same dude.
Hey, whatever helps. Whatever helps. We've never really seen one of those. We need a kicker to go Nomar Garciaparra. That's what we need.
With the whole
oh man, Nomar used to do it was like a 26-step thing but way before the pitch clock, kids. Nomar stood in that batter's box and he touched everything on his forearms and hands and fingers that he could, like 26 times. It was unbelievable. All right, let's see. We've gone through some NFL stuff. We went through the championship game. Again, remember the Will Howard free play this week. Make sure you're checking that out. There was a chat that I liked real quick. To the Texas football team, Big Cheddar threw in, has Trey Moore announced his intentions for next season? Guys, I have not seen an update on that. Jason?
Do we all have to announce everything now?
Yeah, if he's just kind of coming back, do you have to announce it? So he hasn't announced anything, but
he announced he's going to the bathroom yet today.
Did he announce I'm having for lunch in a little bit? No, Cheddar, he hasn't announced, but I think all indications are he'll be coming back. Otherwise he would have announced portal, probably NFL. So looks like he'll be coming back, and I think that's kind of what we've been hearing anyways for the last week or so.
Yeah, Alex, how dare you? I was just about to announce that I have had yogurt and my vitamins today. So that announcement is out there. It's officially that I've taken my vitamins.
I'm glad you at least took your supplements with food. A lot of people don't know to do that.
You got to do it. Take the supplements with food. Make sure you're doing that. Trey Moore, yes, nothing official yet. There is a lot of liking it to be official. And I like the comment that was in one of our OB chats, guys, but the idea that in this day and age, maybe you just want your name out there. So even though it's obvious, even though you don't have to, even though they, the NFL, or they, your college team, they know you don't have to. And they know probably what you're thinking, but maybe it's an idea, especially when it's an NFL guy. Like if a Jake Majors wants to say, I am declaring for the NFL draft. It sounds kind of silly if you know the specifics, but does that hurt him? I mean, Alex, the NFL.
Cody and I had this talk yesterday, and it's like you just said, you did the Michael Scott, I declare bankruptcy meme. It's like, I think it has to do with people's personalities. I think there are people that like to kind of, draw attention to themselves, and that's fine. And I think there are people that just kind of just like go about their business, and they don't. I think
it's true, Alex. If you think about Trey Moore, even as a recruit in the portal, he didn't talk to anybody ever. Believe me, I tried and tried and tried, even off the record, whatever. So he wasn't a guy who craved the spotlight, even when he was in the portal, right? He was a pretty hot commodity. So maybe that's just I don't know Trey Moore because that's not his personality, So maybe you're right. Maybe he just doesn't care about the spotlight, and that's who he is.
Yeah, and Binks also has an official announcement. Chad's yogurt and supplements will be taking over his bodily functions before House Divided. Binks, thank you for the update. Thank you. I will not confirm or deny that when we get to House Divided today. All right, if you want to get in on Prize Picks, you see the deal right there on top. Play 5, get 50 instantly if you use the code Orange Bloods. Gentlemen, any other picks you like before we close the door here? Championship game on Monday, the divisional round. Make sure you play that free Will Howard pick with pair that up with something. See if you can get you some guaranteed money that way. Anything else you guys want to mention before we get out of here?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
Cody's good. Jason's good. All right. We hope all of you are good. Best of luck with all your prize picks, no matter who you like or don't like. Are you going to fall for all the Jeremiah Smith stuff this time? Or do you think Notre Dame can hold him down below those numbers? Go check out Prize Picks. It's a lot of fun to do. Check out those green goblins. Make sure you look for the little double arrow situation where you can take the green goblins in the Jeremiah Smith stuff. 3 or 4 different Red Devils available on certain things. So if you want to play around with it, it's a lot of fun. Get that app on your phone and make sure when you play 5, you'll get 50 instantly. Just use the code OrangeBloods when you get signed up with Prize Picks. We appreciate you for doing it. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and getting your notifications. House Divided coming up at noon today. Anwar is going to sit in for catch. And yes, we will have Brian Jones at 1:20. I have not spoken to Brian Jones about the defensive play at the end of the half when Travion Henderson ended up in the end zone. If you have kids around that don't like to hear swearing, probably don't have them check out House Divided today at 1:20. We'll ask Brian about that. We'll ask Brian about goal line calls, and we'll ask him about Ohio State and Notre Dame as well. Brian Jones of CBS Sports will join us at 1:20 today. These two fellas on the bottom of your screen will hit you with Football with Friends at 6 o'clock, as they normally do. Anwar's back with the old-fashioned tomorrow at 9 as well. Thank you so much for checking it out. Thank you for your support. And of course, you can check all these guys out, all the great content. Keep up with every big story when it comes to Texas football at orangebloods.com. Since we are now to Thursday, we are past the short window that Texas players had to get in the portal. So if you're a Texas fan, you can kind of get a little going at this point, because nobody can get in the portal again until the spring portal window. So you got a little time to relax. Thank you guys for jumping in. Have a great rest of your Thursday. And thanks to Prize Picks for all their support. Get on Prize Picks. Best of luck to you in any and all games. Remember, they got all sports too. Jason mentioned Nikola Jokic and NBA stuff. If you know your NBA, whatever the sport is that you know, soccer, whatever it is, jump on into Prize Picks. They got a lot of great options for you. Until next time, and the next Prize Picks show will be as we lead into next football season. Try not to cry. Try not to be sad. Just write it down in your journal and then come back for the next Prize Picks show next football season. But make sure you're playing Prize Picks all through the summer. Thank you guys for checking it out, and thank you for supporting Orange Bloods Live. Y'all take care. See ya.